Hi, I'm Holly McNeill, and welcome to another episode of Pay Attention. So, I had a guest that was going to come on today, and like with many podcasts, sometimes that doesn't work out that way. So, I thought I would come on anyway. I had the time and space, and I've had an interesting couple of days. So, I wanted to come on and talk to you about. It's interesting. I've spent my life since my early 40s. I had this intention to retire from architecture. As many of you know or may not know, I'm an architect, and to write about what I've learned about this journey from stuck and isolated and fearful to better, to open and clarity and peace. And I did do that. I retired at age 50, and I spent 6 years writing, and I came up with the Per Love formula, and I have a great awareness hub group of people where we meet twice a month to make mindfulness a way of living. And it's a beautiful journey, and I'm so grateful to be on it. But last night, it kind of took maybe a turn in the road, another calling, or potentially another way that all I've learned can help. And that is in trying to really find connectiveness in this world, in this moment, in this time of divisiveness. So what happened was I released the third episode of this podcast with Sarah Davison, the divorce coach, and the clip that we put on Instagram and Facebook was one where I opened up about my alienation from my father when I was a child and my fighting against my alienation from my children, my 8 years fighting to prevent that alienation when I saw it happening again in them, because I knew the pain and what it does to a child to be alienated from a parent. Alienation is kind of an epidemic going on right now in this world, and so I knew I had personal experience. I had personal understanding of what would happen if I exited stage left and didn't deal with all the police showing up and, destroying the apartment and all the anger and all the putting the children in the middle. I stayed in it because I knew how important it was for their self-worth and for their feelings of belonging and connectedness and lovability. And so that clip was shown yesterday, and I've got a lot of people I hadn't heard from in a long time really reaching out to me about that. And it was very touching. But it made me realize that alienation, whether it's personal or societal, is so fracturing. And another word, I guess you could say, for alienation is divisiveness, right? And we're seeing a lot of that in our country right now. And I'm pretty emotional these days, and I'm not sure when this podcast episode will air, but I'm sitting an hour south of the fires in California. I'm sitting in Irvine, California, and I've heard from so many people up there that I know and care about who are worried about their homes, who've lost their homes, who've fled. And I'm wondering where the kindness is, we're hearing about conspiracy theorists and people who weren't prepared. Where's the kindness? Where's the humanity? Where's the, hey, I'm so sorry this is happening. The winds were so crazy, even down here. It could have easily been down here. The winds, every 5 minutes, they just hit the house. Every 3 minutes, going so fast and so crazy for like a day and a half, So where is the kindness? Where is the understanding for what's going on here? And it made me kind of feel a little bit sad and, helpless. And I'm sure it's brought on a lot of anger and fear, right? Not just the fires, but the divisiveness and the cruelty and the fracturing that's going on here. And so if you're like me and you're feeling that way, it just dawned on me that I know a lot about alienation. And And I'm learning a lot about divisiveness. And they're the same, right? It's so damning, right? So when I was fighting for my children, those 8 years, starting at the time of 9/11 in 2001, 2, and 3, and finally when I was temporarily alienated from them in 2011, there's a solid 8 years there where every day I didn't know what to expect. I tried to put my best foot forward. I hung in there. And when the kids would be there, I would be strong for them. And when they would leave for the weekend, I would fall to pieces on the floor, and I had to pick myself up. So I learned a lot about that, and about picking yourself up, about finding what's really inside. And I discovered that there is a connectiveness, that we're not helpless in this time of divisiveness. There is a connectiveness we can all find, and that is on the inside, the journey within. It's really what I've learned over my 20 some years of searching through neuroscience, psychology, Buddhism, and spirituality. No matter what's going on outside in your world, there's really only one journey, and that's the journey to right here and right now. Right here and right now is the only time that there really is. The only time that life is happening. Life is full here. There is no anger. There's no divisiveness. There's no fear. There's no hatred, right? The problem is we're living constantly in the chaos of our mind in the past, worrying about the past, or regretting the past, and worrying about the future. But we can step back. As an architect, my job was to take, I helped put together documents for large, complex structures, and it was thousands of pieces and hundreds of consultants and dozens of in-house staff coming together to put these documents together to create a straightforward path for people to construct these complex structures from. And so in doing the same with the mind, I have found that everything is pointing back to this one simple truth, this one journey from all of that, all of that outside of yourself that you want to change and you want to see differently, to that calm and peace and clarity in your heart. There is a vast intelligence in your heart, in the silence. When you stop thinking, you silence the mind, silence it, and there is so much wisdom, and kindness, and passion, and connectiveness right there. It's very simple and straightforward and transformational, but it's met with resistance, right? The mind will protect its programming. So whatever conditioning we've created over the years, we were never taught to, those are just thoughts. We're humans. We can think those are just thoughts. We started to listen to those thoughts in our head and believe them and identify with them and take them on as who we are. But we need to step back, and it's really mindfulness is a way of life. It's a way of it's a way of life where you pay attention, where you're paying attention from moment to moment what those thoughts are in your mind, and you're questioning them and you're not believing them, and you're settling them down by not resisting them, by letting them just be as they are, right? It's the resistance to wanting to what is that causes all our struggling and conflict. And when we can do that, when we can sit back in that clarity and stop that thinking and quiet it down and drop down into the heart, right? There's so much wisdom, peace, and kindness there. And actually, in living in that and bringing that into your daily life and just imagining, connectedness of the world, being there supportively and being there to support others, to support yourself. If enough of us do that, that can make a difference. That is the real human journey, to right here and right now, out of the chaos of your mind into the clarity of your heart. So, as life would have it, my guest for today canceled, and I was already ready, already made up. So I thought I would come on and talk to you about this. Maybe it's time. Maybe the life is showing us something with all the global warming, the fires, the next 4 years. Maybe it's time to really turn inward. That is where the power and strength is. So I hope you will join me on this journey. And I know this is a shorter podcast, but I just wanted to jump on and invite you to join me on this journey. I'm sure many of you are on your journey home, your inward journey home. And yeah, if you'd like to be a part of the Awareness Hub or join the 21-day challenge, whatever you'd like, I'm here. I'm here now. I work every day to spend as much time in the present moment as I can. So please reach out to me, Holly at mindfulnessblueprints.com. You can connect with me on my website, hollymcneill.com. Or just know that the real journey, when you make this journey inside, life will flow. Everything else that you're worried about is on that thoughts, emotions, feelings, chaotic highway that I've talked about in my classes. When you step off of it, right? When you spend time in that clarity, life will flow, and every other journey that you want on the outside world, you will find your way. When you're not in your way, you will find your way. It's an amazing, beautiful journey to be on, even in this time of struggle and climate change. It's hope, it's love, it's really worth it. So find your way inside. It's the right of every human being. First pay attention to what you're believing, what you're thinking, back away from it. Find that space in between your thoughts, emotions, and feelings, that clarity in your heart. And you, my friends, will find your way to connectivity, love, peace, wisdom, compassion. Right. That's it. That's all I've got to say today. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for joining me for this solo episode of Pay Attention.